Hi there, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case. Welcome if you're currently here in the live premiere. Today we are catching up and explaining what went down last night. And the reason why I'm doing it here is simply because not everyone will be aware of it, because the video wasn't in direction to Dylan Rounds specifically, etc. But we are going to bring it into the light today so everybody knows about it. It appears, depending how you look at it, Salty Pancakes had another mini meltdown on YouTube, as some people would, suggest. Salty Pancakes calling all different people out left, right and centre. Pancakes calling out Dale, saying he's next, he's going to be targeted. Calling out Ellen Berg, Ellen Berg's son. Calling out Taylina, which is Kurt Wadsworth's daughter. Calling out Kurt Wadsworth himself. It was all over the place, okay? One thing I did notice, though, that as soon as Betty Hayward came into the chat, Pancakes disappeared. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know if Betty Hayward's buns or stale bread scared him off, but maybe it's because Betty Hayward doesn't cook or bake pancakes. Maybe that was the thing. But that aside, on a serious note, we're going to get through it all today. Don't worry, I've got receipts coming out all over the place. Do you normally say, what, you got a little trick or card up your sleeve? I don't even have that because I'm sleeveless, okay? But I've got, how do I use the word? I'll use the word so everybody relates. Got all the receipts. Basically, all I would say, just the screenshots from last night of what was talked about, okay? And it is in relation to Dylan Rounds and key people within the case. We read through it. I show you each screenshot one by one, try and make sense of it, try and add my additional points on if there's any questions, right? It could even trigger a new discussion or a new outlook on the Dylan Rounds case. There's only one way to find out, and that's to look into it, okay? And I will try and give you my thoughts as we do go along. Also, shout out to Cleo. Before we go any further, shout out to Cleo for her presence, participating in the live chat last night, as well as her super chat, very good of her. Shout out to Whatever as well. Unfortunately, Whatever didn't have the best viewing experience last night because of YouTube just being an idiot. YouTube messing up, the incompetent idiots YouTube, because it screws me over as well at times, okay? But I think Whatever finally understood the purpose of last night's video. But don't worry, if anyone and everyone is confused, it's all under control. Everything is all under control at this moment in time. We're going to talk it through bit by bit tonight, okay? Now, another important point, more so breaking news, okay? Everybody ready? Breaking news. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my earlier video I covered today, or should I say tonight. Link will be down below in the pinned comment section, covering the breaking news of a missing individual, missing person out there that has been found successfully. For the details, the backstory, the outcome, check the link down below. I've covered it all, okay? So, arguably been pretty busy in recent time, more so because it's been a bit all over the place for covering stuff. I don't know how other people think about that, like, the odd thing I've been looking at, maybe experimenting with this, either how for, keeping it consistent or, keeping it balanced and covering what's in front as supposed facts. Just seeing how it works out and how people respond to it, right? You want to spread awareness of certain cases or missing people or those that have been impacted, whichever way, whatever theme. But at the same time, you need people to respond back and acknowledge the coverage, right? So it works hand in hand, okay? So just been a bit experimenting recently, and it's been okay, okay? The consistent people are still here, which is very good, and, some of the newer ones as well. So shout out to all the people. I think what we can also do today is look back at the comment section of my previous video, okay? All in relation to this video right here, right now, to provide a backstory, a theme behind it so everyone can follow a little bit easier, okay? So really, if you have just suddenly joined, welcome. If you're here right now, that's good. Feel free to share your thoughts, opinions and reactions on the right hand side of the screen in the live chat box, and you can talk about other stuff in between, and you can leave comments down below if you wish to. I think without further ado, let's just head into last night's video and check the comments out. Right, so I'll just arrange it to the news. We haven't got too many to get through, but I just thought it's also worth incorporating the comments here to answer any questions or any additional points made by people. And so I can also explain the backstory of last night's video too, okay? So Tom Evans left a comment saying, I think this has the opportunity to open some new doors to the case. I mean, Tom, I think you got one point right, opening doors for returning people from the past, such as Salty Pancakes, an individual that had his YouTube account terminated, as well as a few others, and he has shown up in recent time on a different YouTube account, which other people would classify as ban evading, which you shouldn't be doing on YouTube, going against TOS, after already going against that in the previous days or so. We can take a look at the profile later just to confirm and to check when the account was created. All that little bits and bobs in between, don't worry, it's all perfectly fine and under control. So yeah, Tom, it looks like you were right. And maybe tonight's video as well opens up new discussions, or it strengthens ideas. It can clear up the junk from the past. Different ways of looking at it, it can work. We got Cleo saying cat fight or cat versus Hulk. I think I said Hulk. Wallite Ref, Almighty, you certainly asked for it. Okay. You know, maybe there were like a couple of cat fights last night, but it was perfectly fine because that was the whole theme of it, in a sense. That people could say this or could say that if they wanted to, just because of what the video was about in general, okay? Whatever saying, what's going on? Please read my comments. I'm lost. And basically, I said it's a live chat room where people can talk about whatever. But I think when I said that at the time in the live chat, it might have confused whatever even further, because when I said we're talking about whatever, maybe whatever, for what I meant by whatever talking about was talking about her. But that's not what I meant, okay? It gets confusing with these usernames, right? So basically, whatever understands now, I think. But I'll just explain it anyway to people watching right now, in case people are on the catch-up. So basically, last night there was about 2 videos, I believe. One was on the Idaho 4 case and Dylan Round's discussion. Okay, looking at the latest news there. Be sure to check that video out as well if you haven't already. Link will be down below in the pinned comment section, right? The second video, which was significantly longer, was like a photo slideshow of random photos, okay? Photos that I've taken over time in a video format. Set it as a live premiere, which then enables the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen. That was the main purpose of that video, for it to be a video in the first place, for it to be enabled to a live premiere to then enable the live chat, because that's what I wanted, the live chat box, so people could communicate in real time, share their thoughts, opinions and everything else. Just like now, but yesterday it was really focused on the chat box only and not so much on the screen of the video you're watching, right? Like this video here, we're actually talking about stuff and I'm presenting important things to you on screen. And then people can communicate in the chat and react there and talk. But last night it was mainly live chat box, chat room as you would expect, and just communicate there. The photos, it was something to look at, right, in between. Some people enjoyed the photography, so that's good. I decided to add music in this time, made sure to use the correct piece so there was no copyright or any toxicity like that, as you know. And as well, I noticed that by adding audio music to a certain video length, it did not increase the file size, which was good. So that's why I did that. As well, if anyone's wondering, why did I use those photos? Or why did I use photos anyway? Why did I not use some fancy visuals? Why did I not use some random video clip as maybe other live streams do when they've got the little chats ongoing? It all comes down to file size, right? So when people do live streams, actual live streams, it's like instantly broadcasted to YouTube, right? It's like all on the spot, on the go. Whereas a live video premiere, first of all, you got to make the video and then upload it and then set it as a live premiere. So it's shown public for the first time ever with the live chat box. And in that whole process, it involves saving and exporting a video, right? So you think about it last time when I did about a 7-hour video. When I saved it and exported it, it took forever. It was horrendous, okay? So that's why this time I did it shorter. So it was a bit more efficient and within time reach. Obviously, because I was doing another video at the same time, right? So I was very busy, hands full and much more, right? As well, the reason why I use photos is just simply to reduce the file size. Photos are obviously smaller in file size compared to an actual video, right? The quality and the size and everything like that. So I just used lots of photos, pieced them together of a certain length of time, about 10 minutes apart from each one, and then saved the video. I did reduce the quality and I turned down the frame rate from 30 to 24 because with it not being like a standard video, more of a slideshow, the frame rate didn't matter. As for the quality, people did like the photos, so I appreciate that. Those photos do show up a lot better in normal format, but as said, I had to reduce it from 1080 to 720 just to reduce the file size, because if I didn't, the video would be way too big to save and upload, limited storage on my phone as well. So I had to make adjustments. So hopefully people understand that. At some point, I will try and upload the photos by themselves or clear them up a bit. I just never get round to doing it because of all this other stuff going on, okay? So hopefully that explains it all for whatever. Let's see what she said. She said, sorry, I didn't know what happened. I just read that after I left. When I came in late, left a few comments and nothing came up. After that, maybe my chat feed was broken. I backed up thinking there was a discussion. Only about 10 messages before mine and still nothing after. I could tell people were in there because of the number, but I kind of just gave up. So I understand that. So, so like the chat, it wasn't really displaying the messages. It felt like whatever, said she was talking to herself. So it was kind of confusing and weird what was going on. I get that. I understand. Have I experienced that before? Whatever. Well, I've had it where my own video has actually frozen. That has really annoyed me. My own live video premiere has frozen on me, but everybody else is able to watch. So what did I do? I couldn't do anything. I was literally locked out of my own damn video. That happened once before. So the Bob Farrell effect is wearing off on other people, okay? Wearing off just like those socks. So, as well, whatever. The other issue I've had in the past was, well, actually, it happened last night as well, where I'm trying to post a comment in the live chat box, but then it gets grayed out and then there's like a red cross saying error, did not send. I tried again. Sometimes it works, but this time it didn't. It was messed up, so I couldn't leave any more messages in the live chat. So I had to close down the tab, refresh it several times, and then I was able to start typing again. But has it ever happened for me where the chat has been completely empty, but people have been present commenting? I think it might have happened that, and I think I just had to keep refreshing the tab and then it fixed it eventually. Sometimes if you change the I don't know if everyone else can do it, if you change like the drop down menu from top comments to live comments, that can help, right? Anyone else, let me know. Anyone else in the chat, let me know if you've experienced whatever has experienced before, okay? And I think I'm saying it wrong as well. It's the Valley Girl accent, golly. So it's whatever. So I've got to say it in basically a peasant UK voice. Whatever. Okay, does that make sense? Whatever. Hopefully. Right, my tripod and everything below it is absolutely useless at this moment in time. It's just bending all over the place. I'm fucking bendy than a banana. Right, here we go. Cleo saying, I was pressing all the wrong keys, had to erase some comments, now I'm going to forget anyway. Thank you for giving us viewers panel to express our thoughts, yet once again I failed to use. You're welcome. I don't know what Cleo is talking about. What did Cleo talk about last night? I can't remember. It was kind of random at times. I'm not quite sure what happened there, Cleo. Indiana, I enjoyed the session. Great backdrops, great music, and a great start to the weekend. So that's good to know. And you know what? The biggest positive is, Indiana was able to survive the 7 hours last time of photos. This time, she's used to it and understands the purpose and the meaning behind it. So that's all good and fine. It looks like we've reached the end of the comments. It's now time to move forwards. So yeah, really, it was just one of those times last night where, all the other videos, there needs to be a level of focus because we're talking about important points, Dylan rounds mainly, right? Sometimes people want to talk about other things, that's fine. Why not have a video, a platform, a moment where people can do that and for as long as possible and talk about a range of stuff without feeling like they're causing any disruption. That's what I did last night with that open live chat room, okay? And surprisingly, in a good way, people were still actually talking about Dylan rounds, right? I wasn't expecting it, okay? I did type in the title, examples of what can be talked about and much more, such as Dylan rounds, Kenny Veach. As for Kenny Veach and M-Cave, not a single conversation came up in that, and that's fine because we're focused on Dylan rounds at this moment in time. So it just also demonstrates that the right people are here at the right place at the right time. So that all ties in line there, consistent. If there were people in the background in the past a bit whiny and a bit demanding of cover Kenny Veach, cover M-Cave, it's like, where are you now, right? Because that video last night was an opportunity to start talking about it, but they didn't show up, so here's what it is. Anyway, people talking about Dylan Round's case last night, that's good. People still thinking about it, trying to generate new ideas, and maybe people are right now, okay? I guess in doing so and talking about that, partially why the individual known as Not For You, who is Taylina, Kurt Wadsworth's daughter, okay? Taylina has popped into the chat in the past, sharing her thoughts, her experiences and knowledge on the case of Dylan or the people caught up in it, the ones in Montello, etc. She's going to have a good idea because she's within the area or has been within the area and knows the likes of Kurt Wadsworth because father, daughter, connections, family. So there's no harm in listening to these individuals at times, right? Just see what they've got to say. Check out, is it consistent with what other people are saying, right? I'll be honest, Not For You in the early days when they appeared on my channel, they seemed to have a bit of an attitude problem. They were a bit snappy and complaining, but that evened out and it was okay in the end. Sometimes if I've asked a question towards Taylina, she's answered. It was easy to understand, so that's good of Taylina. Shout out to Taylina. If you wonder why sometimes I talk in certain ways, it's because I really need it to be very clear and visible for people to hear, just so people don't get the wrong end of the stick or mishear something, because that's where tension and conflict erupts, rapidly. So I've got to be very specific with my wording and pronunciation at times, okay? So yeah, with doing the Dylan Rounds case coverage and the talk last night with people in the chat, range of different people showing up, so that's all good. Taylina as well. And then Salty Pancakes showed up. Let me just adjust that. Salty Pancakes showed up last night. I think most people are familiar with Salty Pancakes. Individual that set their channel up back in 2022, covering the Dylan Rounds case, going down to Montello, going to the grain shed, meeting up with Kurt Wadsworth, hanging out, talking to them, etc. And then doing videos online, live streams, call-ins, interviewing the Wadsworths, interviewing Kurt Wadsworth and Taylina, inviting them onto panel in the past. Those claims, reports that Salty Pancakes paid the Wadsworths to appear during the interviews on YouTube. I don't know if that's 100% true, but that's what's been talked about for some time now, so there is that. I think you could say there's been a bit of a pattern and behaviour with Salty Pancakes, that sometimes when he performs and he does well, but then other times he kind of, I don't know, slightly ruins his reputation or credibility by going on a bit of a spree, a bit of a meltdown, or, you know, calling people out and all these accusations and stuff. It's a bit disappointing at times, but, you know, I guess it is what it is. Shout out to American Honey, though, for popping in last night. It was good that they showed up. I think the last time I saw them, or the last comment they said, they were in a redneck tub. Is that a bathtub? I don't know. I think sometimes if you're in water too long, you can get a bit wrinkly. Do you know, like those cats without fur? I don't know what you call them. I mean, my fingers have ended up like that if my hands have been in water too long. It just randomly came to my mind again. But, you know, range of different people last night. Salty Pancakes popping on in. It was the Salty Pancakes, right? And, you know, some people could be like, well, what? How's that even possible? Because he's been terminated. Well, basically, he's just set up another account on YouTube, maybe under a different email to be able to set it up, because his original stuff has been terminated and you can't create a new YouTube account under the same email. It just doesn't work. So you'd have to create a new email address and then connect it with Google, YouTube, and go from there, right? And some people classify that as ban evading. People have called out Mr. X for ban evading on YouTube in recent time. Watch Your Crazy has documented it. I once experienced it on my channel in the live chat when he popped on in, right? So you see a few people doing that. You can understand why, because they want to share their thoughts, their opinions, they want to get their voice out there, and the only way they can do that is by creating an alternative account, because the main forms have been blocked due to the past, right? I get that. And you see a range of people doing that, okay? But it was one of those moments where when Salty Pancakes popped into the live chat, it was like from 0 to 100, call out, calling out Dylan, saying Dylan's on drugs, Dylan was pumped full of drugs, Dylan given alcohol, I believe, by Kurt Wadsworth, but underage, etc., etc. It's a bit all over the place, okay? Now, I did take screenshots of it all, okay, just to document as we go along, just to maybe just highlight what Salty Pancakes believes in, his thoughts on the Dylan Rounds case. And then, of course, everyone watching right now, and Taylina and anyone else in between, you can share your side of the story as well. You can reinforce it. You can counter it, counterpoints, all that welcome. Feel free to do that in the live chat as we go along. And as well, if you've got additional points which you can't fit into the chat, do so in the comment section, okay? So we're just going to go through all the screenshots right now in the appropriate order, read them out and go from there, okay? As I said, it is to do with Dylan Rounds, all this. If you would like to rewind back to the start, if you have just joined, feel free to do so. And as well, mainly after watching this video, as said, there are links down below to the recent videos I have done. My last Dylan Rounds Idaho 4 coverage, as well as the breaking news earlier of a missing individual being found safe. Down below, okay? So let's just head on to the screenshots right now and have a look. Have a look at what went down last night. So here is the first screenshot where Salty Pancakes made his presence known for the first time in my live chat for quite some time. Take in mind, I couldn't fit everything on the screen, so that's why I've taken multiple screenshots, okay? So you see Not For You is present there, Taylina. Originally, their profile picture was of an eye and the American flag, but it has changed since. And responding back to Tom saying, that's lovely. JT, Bob, and their sauce, whatever that's in response to. Salty Pancakes pops in, instantly replying back to Taylina saying, why did your dad serve alcohol to an underage individual and keep tabs? Okay. The word keep tabs, for some reason, I should know what that means, but I don't. Is tabs the form of payment or something? Put it on my tab or something. As you can see, I'm not really an alcoholic, am I? I don't even have alcohol, so there you go. But, you know, just jumping on in the deep end, Salty Pancakes demanding, questioning and interrogating Taylina. I mean, this is the thing. Everyone has their different styles and methods. But, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes when you jump into the deep end, it can actually push people away when you're trying to get answers. Apologies about if there's any noises in the background. It's this stupid water bottle. I'm going to chuck it across the room because it's absolutely useless. There you go. Useless bottle. I hate it when there's distractions getting in my way. Incompetent idiots, mortal fools. Right. You remember in the past when Weezer was in the chat at one point? Salty Pancakes came in demanding answers from her. It didn't work out. Pancakes didn't get his answers. Weezer kind of ignored him, and that was it. And then with time, Weezer started sharing her thoughts, her past stories and encounters with different individuals within the case. And then we got a better understanding of the Dylan Rounds case. We solved some things, we tied up some loose ends and reinforced other points. And that was all done in a natural, controlled way without it being forced or rushed, right? Now, you got someone like Pancakes who just like charges in like a bull in a china shop. It's not going to work, right? So you just got to try and work around things. I guess maybe it applies differently with different people, okay? So, you know, let me know your thoughts in the chat. People in the chat, what do you think about this? Supposedly Kurt Wadsworth serving Dylan alcohol. I mean, you know, if it's like in a family situation, you know, someone's father or someone's mother gives a little bit of alcohol to the son or daughter, whatever, of a slightly younger age, it's probably not going to be frowned upon. It's be like, oh, that's a normal thing, or it's kind of harmless. But maybe when you look at it from a outside of the family perspective of just in a general situation of a stranger giving someone alcohol of a younger age, yeah, it's probably not that good, that. But in terms of the relation, or should I say the friendship between Kurt Wadsworth and Dylan, they were friends, they kind of got on well. Dylan stayed at Wadsworth's trailer supposedly in the past. It was Lance Kelly that said every day in the morning in Montello, Dylan would be at Kurt Wadsworth's trailer. Supposedly. Okay, I don't know if anyone else can back that up. But that's how it's been worded in the past. So if you got like friends with the usage of alcohol, maybe getting a bit drunk at times, maybe in some settings or, you know, some people's opinions, it could be deemed as a little bit dodgy, not the right way to go about things. But then others will be like, does it really matter? Does it really lead to anything? I guess maybe it's just like that concept of person of a much older age, adult, responsibilities, someone of a younger age, not quite an adult, seen in a way or labelled as a bit of a vulnerable individual or in a bit of a vulnerable situation, older adult with greater responsibilities, kind of gives stuff to that younger person, and then it gets a bit twisted, turned, confused, and a bit all messy and all over the place. But you know, that it would be seen more intensified like that if it was like two strangers, right? Could be seen as inappropriate. But if it's between friends, doesn't seem as bad. And in case anyone gets it out of context, we're still talking about the alcohol, okay, distribution of it and it being handed to Dylan. Now, Dylan wasn't that far away from, turning into the age of a fully grown adult, right? But I guess, you call it, legally or by law, he wasn't quite an adult at that point. But then again, I guess it also depends what country you're from, right? Some countries, 18 or 19 is classified as an adult, and then other countries, it's 20, 21, right? All different ones, You get some country laws where 18, you can fiddle about this and that, with another person, but you have to be 21 to be able to have alcohol. It's just different, it just differs from these different places and countries, right? But, anyone present right now, even if not for you is showing up, I can understand if not for you, walked away from the chat last night when Pancakes came in. It can get a bit, I don't know, confrontational in a way. Not wanting or needing to be around that type of stuff. I get it. But not for you. If you want to clear up any misinformation here, feel free to do so. Anyone else in the matter too. No harm, okay? So this was the first comment by Pancakes, what you see on screen, revolving around the alcohol issue. Besides that one, what Jim Terry came up with the footage in 2021, I believe. I think it was 2021. Where Dylan with his friend JD, but then that turned out it wasn't JD supposedly, and then some other friends in that truck of Dylan's. Dylan was driving, I believe, and his friends were questioned. Dylan came out of the truck and then was questioned as well. He seemed a bit shy, a bit quiet and stuff. His persona, his behaviour, that was to do with alcohol because of littering previous. Some locals contacted the police about it for littering. Got pulled over, they were in possession of alcohol, but they weren't drunk, right? So there's been different alcohol-related issues or occurrences, events tied with that theme, and we're here again once with this. Now, at the end of the day, whether it's true or false, is it the end of the world? Or let's say, does something like this link to Dylan's death? Kurt giving Dylan alcohol, does it lead to Dylan's death? No. I wouldn't say so. So is it really that relevant? Maybe to some people as a backstory, understanding people, possibly. Though the theme of alcohol in general can play a part, right? If you apply it to Brenner, maybe. If Brenner was drunk at the time on the 28th, or if he was drunk the previous day and he was recovering from a hangover, he was a bit, do you call it grouchy? I don't know. He was a bit frustrated, a bit tired, in a bit of a bad mood, and then coming across Dylan early in the morning with all the noise and racket possibly. It's probably going to disrupt him, disturb his sleep, already in a bad mood. Add on Dylan's appearance, presence, and then supposedly knocking over the horse gate near the grain shed. It's all these little factors which could trigger Brenner, a bit more heightened his senses, some of them, the negative ones, and that led to him snapping because he was already in a bit of a bad mood, possibly if he was under the influence of alcohol or recovering from it a day or two before. You never know, right? Because sometimes, it doesn't happen to everyone, but when some people, have alcohol, get drunk, they can end up reacting in a bit of a uncontrollable way, very reckless, volatile, verbal, and sometimes physically aggressive. It can get very nasty, right? So, you can understand how maybe certain crimes in Montello or the crime in Lucerne, at points, the usage, influence of alcohol could have played a role. Just like how we've looked back at the crimes to do with the fentanyl, the drug usage in other cases, okay? That was the first comment, okay? Second one, I just said welcome, just as a standard default thing, right? Just to see what he would reply with, okay? Because I don't think Salty Pancakes is in the best of moods with me as of recently, but that's fine. He didn't seem to respond back to any of my comments, so it makes me think maybe Salty Pancakes has blocked me, but it is what it is. Here, Pancakes replies to Taylina saying, "This is a rumour, it's a fact." What? You contradicted yourself there. You say it's a rumour, it's a fact. It's either one or the other. I think what Pancakes meant to say was, this isn't a rumour, it is a fact that it happened. Something like that. What did Cleo say? A dumbbell took the last of my bears to storage. I'm so peed off. I just bought a huge panda and took my last sunshine. A dumbbell? Are you lifting weights? Huh. Interesting. Move on. We've got Linda there. Grateful Nomad popping on in. Grateful Nomad, that profile picture you've got, is that of Alice in Wonderland with that checkered pathway? Let me know. Salty says to Taylina here, Kurt Wadsworth serving underage people alcohol in a bar is extremely illegal. Once again, I'm not an expert with a bar. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't attend bars, right? But I can understand rules, regulations. Breaking them, you can get in trouble, okay? But I can also sense that maybe if you are in certain dodgy bars or bars in very secluded, quiet areas away from the police and presence of others, you'd probably be bending some rules and allowing certain things. And with Kurt Wadsworth being friends with Dylan, the distribution of alcohol probably there'd be a slightly better understanding, right? Just because they know each other, they get on well, or did at one point, okay? And there have been talks, and if anyone wants to add on or counter the points and clear up any of the BS, feel free to do so. But I remember all the discussions in the past, obviously talking about Dylan Rounds and Kurt Wadsworth hanging out and having a beer together, not sharing the same bottle, no, but having their own drinks and possibly getting drunk as well. Getting drunk, the part getting drunk is probably the only slightly problematic thing about it, just because if Dylan is of a certain age at the time, technically isn't allowed to have alcohol or be served alcohol in certain settings. To be drunk, kind of vulnerable. Did anything happen to Dylan in any way or shape? Not from the looks of it, not from what I've really heard, unless other people have heard other stuff, right? But yeah, move on. Salty Pancakes also says, lol, why you all scared of salty pancakes? Me personally, I'm not scared by salty pancakes, but at the same time, I don't feel that overwhelming sense of dread when salty pancakes pops in. When Mr. X pops in or has done in the past, I normally think, oh no, here we go again. What's going to happen now? That's how it is with me, because it's a bit more direct, and you know the undercuttings and the odd little insult line or dig made or the misunderstanding of what's been said here and then taken out of proportion, you know, a little bit messy to handle, and to try and have a normal conversation with an individual like that, it doesn't seem to work out. So that's why it's that sense of, oh, here we go again. When it comes to salty pancakes, you know, I know people will find this a bit of a joke and probably find it hard to believe, but at times Salty Pancakes was a bit easier to deal with. Sometimes he kind of snapped out of it and responded appropriately, okay, from my experience only. This time around, he didn't acknowledge my comments, either because he blocked me or he just isn't amused by me at this moment in time, which is fine, okay? But I think there might be other people out there, they're not scared of pancakes, but they're probably just embarrassed by Salty Pancakes' presence and his behaviour at times. That might be it. John William, the Kaylee laugh, or I'll strike your channel. John William is only joking here. Shout out to John, a recent viewer popping on in. Right, I'll probably do it now, John, just so I don't forget, okay? I probably can do a separate video, but I'd rather do it now before I forget. So John William wanted a Kaylee laugh. I can provide that right now, okay? Apologies to everybody else. If you want to cover your ears or put it on mute for a second, feel free to do so. Hold on. John William, is that really you? My name's Kaylee. Come from the swamp. Yeah, I'm a losing scarecrow. I'm in so messed up right now. Oh my God. So there you go. My throat is really dry right now. I'll have to pick up that bottle of water I threw onto the ground. Give me a second. Everyone else can unmute themselves now if they wish to. Okay, the screeching has stopped. Let me know what you think, John. Hopefully you're present right now to hear it. If not, I'll just let you know later, okay? We got Pam saying, yep, he can go to jail for serving people of a younger age alcohol. Okay, fair enough. I get that. It makes sense. Has it happened, though, to Kurt Wadsworth? Yeah. Has he been in trouble? No. Can it be proven either? Maybe if there was some receipts in the background or so, but I just don't think it'll be followed up at the end of the day because of the greater importance of trying to find Dylan and what's happened to Dylan. He's not even alive to be questioned about the Kurt Wadsworth situation. So I think the scenario of Kurt possibly serving alcohol to Dylan over the bar in an illegal way probably will be dropped and not investigated because of the greater focus on trying to find Dylan, who's missing and has passed away. That's more important, I would say. Salty Pancakes does say, don't want to ruin the drug trafficking going on in Montello now. So besides the alcohol talk, Pancakes has come full circle when it comes back to the whole trafficking situation. I mean, in the early days, the great focus was on the meth labs, drug labs, underground stuff going on and activity. Kind of like when Salty Pancakes met Ty Corbin face-to-face for the first time. I don't think it was planned, but they ended up meeting up in Montello at the same time. And Pancakes told Ty about, oh, is there any meth labs or drug stuff going on? And I think Ty Corbin said something like, yeah, it could be further out there, you never know. Something like that. Is it likely to believe? Is it believable, even without proof? I mean, you can think about it. It's possible because of where it's situated in the middle of nowhere, the police quite far away, not having to look over your back as much as you would if you were in a populated urban area. I do get that. But as for the trafficking scenario, when Salty Pancakes mentions it, I don't know, some people might find it a bit hard to believe just simply because of what Salty Pancakes has done in the past by accusing different people of trafficking. So just in short, from what I've heard, Salty Pancakes has accused me of trafficking and the shack lady, and maybe some other people in the background as well. If there is anyone in the chat right now, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you have been labelled by, or labelled as by Pancakes, I should say. Apologies. Let me know if you wish to. If you can't say the words because of YouTube, just abbreviate it, okay? That's fine. But yeah, when someone just goes about labelling all over the place recklessly, the credibility drops. Taking them seriously drops. So the next time when someone like Salty Pancakes says something serious, and he might actually mean it, right, and he's maybe telling the truth, it's just hard to believe because of all the things that have happened in the past, right? And I think this is an example of it here, okay? But be sure to let me know your thoughts, okay? We move on. Pancake saying, tell us all about the drug traffickers, Taylina. Tornado Man saying, actually tell us what you think happened, Mike, referring to Salty Pancakes there. There's a few potatoes on screen. That's a potato emoji. I asked Salty Pancakes how the potatoes were doing, but he didn't reply back. So that could imply that the potatoes aren't doing too well. And that could be because of the floods in Lucin, Utah, and Montello, Nevada in recent time, and Utah in general. Weezer and her magical garden was impacted by the rain weeks ago or a month ago now. So maybe the potatoes have, gone through the wars as well. But if there's any updates on the potatoes or the potato picker gang, I will provide an update, okay? Salty Pancakes continuously asking Taylina, saying, hey, Taylina, explain why your dad was pumping Dylan up with alcohol. So depending how you interpret that, in the mindset of Salty Pancakes, is Pancakes accusing Kurt Wadsworth of filling Dylan up with alcohol to make him drunk, to make him vulnerable, and then takes advantage in that sense physically. Is that what Salty Pancakes is saying here, possibly? Grateful Nomad, this is different, Warlike Wrath, artistically interesting. So I think Grateful Nomad was responding to my video itself with the different images, so that's good. Shout out to Grateful Nomad. I'm glad they enjoyed it. Salty saying, okay. Salty then says, hey Taylina, tell everyone how your dad was hitting on Dylan. Oh, here we go. So we're going back to the gay theory once again. The touchy stuff, physical. Right. And we're going to refer to that hot tub video as well, which some people were talking about in the past, which was a rumour and then supposedly was BS in the end. You know, what I would say is this type of stuff feels like going round and round in circles. It's not really getting anywhere. As for the people watching right now and questioning, I'm just simply sharing this with you simply because not everyone would have seen this, because the video last night, it wasn't all about Dylan, it was about a range of different stuff, okay? So it's just to spread awareness of what's recently gone on and what's being talked about, just in case you didn't know yourself, okay? Tom Evans saying, because I know you to be a doper or a dopper and a troublemaker, just like the drama queen. Who's the drama queen? Does anyone know? Salty Crew, yeah, I know everything. Well, if that really is the situation, if Salty Pancakes knows everything, then shouldn't some form of direct action be taken, whether it be with the police or the parents, Candice Cooley, Justin Rounds, or is it simply that Pancakes can't do that because of one of two things? Either one, full of BS, or number two, he just can't at this moment in time because he's dealing with that, Class B misdemeanor to do with the internet online harassment charge, which has been put up, which supposedly by Jim Terry. So Pancakes isn't really in a situation where he can start reporting other things because he's solving and trying to sort out his own trouble, what he's involved in, maybe. But, you know, I'd say over time there's been that pattern where people have been in the Dylan Rounds case and they supposedly have the keys to the answers, that they know what's happened to Dylan or who's responsible, and they keep talking and talking, but they don't pass the information on to the right people. And at times, those present hearing, the audience just then think, well, probably BS, probably because they don't actually have anything. They're just saying it to gain a bit of traction and attention, right? You know what I'm saying? There's no harm in talking about stuff, theorizing, making sense, debunking, comparing, contrasting, looking at photos, videos, right? But if it does come to that point, that moment where you really have something important to share, but it's such a situation where it can't be shared with the general public at this moment in time, instead of it falling on deaf ears and being wasted, it should be sent to the right people out there, the authorities, okay? And people over time haven't done that. So when we see more and more over time, start thinking, oh, it's probably going to be the same outcome again, right? So there might be polls within this video. I'll probably set them up on the spot as we do go through this. It's easier to track as we go along, okay? Can do a few polls in response to what Pancakes has said. Next one. Pancakes saying, where is Buzz Berg? I don't know if that's a play on word for Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story, but basically Salty Pancakes is calling out Ellen Berg from Montello. Ellen Berg. Also known as Ellen Iceberg Letters, the Berganator, okay? Maria, baked hot Cheetos, anyone? Ew. Andrew Colver with the pancakes and salt. Tornado, Ron, he stopped doing it. Salty, Ellen's other son who sells meth. Right. Why is that come into discussion? How does that link to the Dylan Rounds case? Yeah. I mean, look, this is the thing. I won't know everything about everyone. But if there are people out there, whoever it might be, them themselves or people they know of or are related to that participate in things which could be illegal, whatever, or they've already got in trouble in the past, okay, it is what it is. But if it doesn't link to Dylan Rounds, is there much point talking about it? I mean, if you are able to make a valid link, a crossover, how it could apply to Dylan's disappearance or Dylan's death or some kind of confrontation leading up to it, if there are valid links to make, then that's fine. That's understandable, okay? That's why when I've looked at unrelated crime in the area, such as Montello in the past, I've tried applying it to the Dylan Rounds case to the best of my ability. If there is absolutely no link that can be made, then I'm just simply not going to talk about it, because what is the point, right? I might do it as a standalone video, but if you do apply it in a Dylan Rounds video, there's got to be a bit of a meaning behind it, right? Anyway, move on. Salty saying, yeah, the circle is closing in on all of you. So I guess Pancakes is referring to Ellen Berg, Taylina, Kurt Wadsworth, that, you know, they're going to get exposed or Judgment Day is coming or something, right? Okay. I said what? Circle like a crop rotation? You never know. Guidance popped on in, Miss T. Caroline Middleton, credit where it's due, Salty. The live you did with Ruby was fantastic. I don't know why I've got a picture of a camel there. I think it's because I said blessings, unrelated. Salty Pancakes saying, like their drug running and manufacturing. Right, so basically Pancakes is referring to those individuals mentioned earlier, saying that the drug distribution, drug dealing is all going to be exposed and reported to the police or so. Okay, I guess, right. Move on. What else? Salty Taylina, tell everyone how your family is in the drug manufacturing business. Linda, you have entered the Twilight Zone. Also got Sleeper Cell Jen, with an interesting profile picture, which is of Angry Birds, the rojo one, saying, dang, Tron's over there rocking out to some, okay. Tom Evans, this is all water well under the bridge. Salty Pancake saying, in caps, what happened to Dylan on Friday night, Taylina? What happened to Dylan Friday night? Well, if we're talking about the 27th of May 2022, night time, depending what exact timestamp you're talking about, Salty Pancakes, Dylan Rounds was supposedly at his farm at the timestamp of 11:30 p.m. to 11:45 p.m. using a tractor doing seeding at his farm, as there were witnesses nearby at Little Pigeon Mountain camping there overnight that witnessed lights on a tractor being turned on and it being used at Dylan's farm. Those witnesses reported it to Candice Cooley at a later date. Okay, so you had witnesses there that saw that a person was in a tractor. Could they identify why it was Dylan Rounds at the time? No, but I guess you would assume it's Dylan, because who else would be farming that late at night, right? So what's Salty Pancakes referring to? It's like the way he's wording everything, he's kind of like forcing Taylina to reveal everything, to spill the beans. Salty Pancakes knows, but he doesn't want to be the one that says it. He wants Taylina to admit to whatever, right? That's how it comes across here in terms of the language. So anyone in the chat knows, does anyone know what Pancakes is talking about by what happened to Dylan on Friday night? What happened to him? Well, all I've ever known was he returned back to his farm that night and he was just getting on with his seeding before the following day of where he had to get the grain truck to the grain shed property, right? Move on. Salty saying she is covering up for daddy. Right. Who's this person? Oh, I just want to, Taylina Wadsworth versus Michael Irma. Salty, Taylina is Kurt's daughter. Salty, Taylina is not for you, the username. She knows what happened. Salty saying, I'll do a live explaining everything. Well, if that's the case, Pancakes, why now? Is it because you only suddenly, supposedly know about all this now? You know, did you not do it in the past? You know? I'm just trying to make sense of the matter, that's all. Yeah, there you go. How are the potatoes? Didn't respond back, so obviously the potatoes have not really grown well this year during summer. Salty asking, ask Kurt Wadsworth where Dylan Rounds is. What's this? Whatever. Hubby likes at least 30 minutes of my day to catch up. Right, okay. Salty saying, probably in that cement well took me too, he said Dylan was in. What? Right, everyone in the chat, what is going on right now? So Pancakes is accusing Kurt Wadsworth that Kurt Wadsworth knows where Dylan Rounds is at. And then Pancakes says it's Dylan Rounds is probably in that cement where he took me to. He said Dylan was in. If that was really the case, like being serious, if Pancakes was telling the truth here, then why has no action been taken? Why is it all being said in such a calm way or a casual way? Oh yeah, Kurt Wadsworth probably knows. Oh yeah, you know, in the past, Kurt Wadsworth took me to this cement pit or this area where there was cement and Dylan's buried within it all. Oh yeah, uncovered. It's like, well, if that really was the case, you know, has anyone reached out to the family or the police about it as like a tip-off? You know, why has no action been taken once again? Zero action taken because what? It's BS? You get what I'm saying? Yeah, it just seems a bit silly. End of the day. Does anyone think that Dylan is in cement or something? Does anyone think that Kurt Wadsworth knows where Dylan is buried at, right? Weird. And this place where Kurt Wadsworth took Pancakes in the past, did Pancakes record it? Is there any footage of that area in question where Dylan could be at? Anyone answer? Feel free to do so. Some more here by Pancakes saying, ask not for you what happened to Dylan Friday and Friday night. So all throughout the day. Dylan never made it home. She knows. Jill, where is Dylan? Salty, she's covering for her daddy. Now the thing is, if Salty Pancakes is implying that Dylan never made it home on Friday, never made it back to his farm, first of all, Dylan's farm isn't really his home because he doesn't live there all the time, okay? So you can't really call it his home in that sense. Second of all, if Dylan never made it home, in quotation marks, as Pancakes states, then is Pancakes suggesting that Dylan was killed on a Friday? Well, if that really was the case, then why did Dylan, with his phone ping, and his actual voice in a phone call, make contact with his grandmother, Karen Rounds, the following day, Saturday? The grandmother would have heard Dylan on the other end of the phone, heard his voice, what he had to say. And I know some people could say, well, maybe it wasn't Dylan on the phone. Well, I think it was. I mean, who else in that area could do an impression of Dylan Rounds' voice when a couple of those people in the area are of an older age and maybe have a bit of a rougher or croakier voice? You get what I'm saying? It's not always that easy to impersonate somebody else, right? And as well, to call the grandmother, if it was another individual, what would be the point of it, right? It just wouldn't make much sense. So My Pancakes saying Dylan never made it home on a Friday seems like BS because Dylan made a call to the grandmother the following day, coming from his farm, because that's where the grain truck was, and taking it up to the grain shed property, and at the gate making a call to family, which the family received, the grandmother, right? So there is that. Move on. Salty saying, ask Taylina, why did Kurt give Dylan drugs? So we're back to the drug situation now. It's not just alcohol Kurt distributing to Dylan, it's drugs as well. Right. Guidance, showing up. I'm proud Mimi. Salty3 saying, this is all facts. Well, if it's all facts, then it should be very easy to prove, right? With the actual evidence, screenshots, and, all of that, right? But you could put that argument across and say there are zero facts in all of this, or most of this isn't proven, can't be proven. Some people out there will say, what are you on about? Why are you saying that, Raf? Well, it's just simply because if you think about it, if Salty Pancakes on his actual channel at the time documented some stuff, about these things, well, it's no longer available, is it? Because his channel's been terminated, videos taken down, material lost. Maybe he's re-uploaded some stuff elsewhere, but, bulk of it has been lost. So a loss of potential evidence, possible facts, discussions. Okay, so there is that. If Pancakes knows everything and he has an idea of where Dylan could be at, and Pancakes is stating it's all facts, then once again, direct actions should be taken, but doesn't seem like that's the case. So, bit of a problem. Move on. Pancakes saying ban evading? Give it up, Dale, or you're next. Dale responds, I want my allowance, Dad. So it looks like Salty Pancakes has a son out there called Dale. Interesting. What else? John, like your cat, lost mine after 15 years. Oh, okay, so to that. Sleeper cell. Yeah, I'm pushing it now as it's showing up as a bunch. Okay, fair enough, that's good. Yeah, I see it. Dale, come get me, Daddy. Did you hear that, Guidance? I think you better watch out. Why? Well, Guidance, Miss T, you're on Degen Island and Dale's upon the island as well. He might get he might get trafficked by his daddy, Pancakes. Ooh, not good. Now, for other people listening right now, that tone of voice, accent was a bit sarcastic because I wasn't being serious, okay? Just so people realise there's a line between being serious and not being serious, okay? When it's in text-based format, it can be harder to understand. I get that. So with voice, verbal, it's important to associate what is what, how it differs from one another. And move on. Pancake saying, where did Taylina go? Did. To cover for Daddy? To cover for Kurt Wadsworth? Why? What's happening right now at this moment in time? You see how Pancakes, his comments are very fragmented. Not in a paragraph, just all spread out from one another, which is a bit odd. Sleep cell, that's awesome. Now I know that at least people can see them. True. Dale, I'm not Jim Terry, you beach. Okay. Salty saying, covered for Kurt or get the story. Or as Tom said, keep talking with a few ideas. Huge difference. Guidance saying, Tasha, I guess Warlike Wrath had a premonition on the type of conversation that was coming. Yeah. Salty Crew saying, I was nobody's friend out there. I went to get the story. So basically, it seems, and it's kind of obvious, maybe by some people, is that over time, the course of the Dylan Rounds case, Salty Pancakes befriended people, made the contacts, made the networks, try and get the answers from these individuals, strategize, behave in certain ways, get on good terms with people, get in favour of those in the case, try and get the latest scoop, the story, the truth, break through it, up close, personal, face-to-face, physical, in real life, those locations to document, record, and all of that. And then for it all to be deleted and taken away because of YouTube termination, which is unfortunate. But, I guess we saw it with, what was that guy called now? I can't remember. More so in recent time, the one Salty Pancakes travelled down to, interviewed him or talked with him, hung out with him at that farm in Montello or something. And then, was it Steve Olsen? Made friends with Steve Olsen, and then a few days later or weeks later did a live stream about him, calling him out, labelling this and that under the sun. You see those switches and changes. You could call it backstabbing, and like the art of befriending someone to get the answers, to solve a case, to solve a greater cause. That's how you could interpret it, but has it been a great success? Maybe not. Move on. I mean, to be honest, if Salty says, he says, I was nobody's friend out there. So he's referring to out there, i.e. Montello, I guess. Next one, Tom Evans. I don't think Kurt Wadsworth was involved. Salty saying, we wasn't supportive of Kurt Wadsworth. Lol. Now, Salty Pancakes going back on himself here, saying, we wasn't supportive of Kurt. Like, after everything we've done, we paid him. We supported him. We gave him a platform, a voice so he could talk and stuff. Was that not supportive enough by your definition? Seems like that's what Pancakes is inferring here with his tone of voice. Well, if that really was the case, if you were never friends with people, then why were you supportive of them? Or is that just a process of getting them on your side in favour to then get the answers? Maybe. Sketchy popping up. Warlike Wrath, I have something special. Do you? You do, don't you? Salty, once again, saying Kurt is a drug dealer. He is the one issuing the meth in Montello. Maria, she wants Chinese relaxing music. Oh, do you now, Tasha? Tasha T, you want some relaxing Chinese music? I could probably provide some right now, but then again, I'll probably get told off as well. Not just the copyright, but other stuff too. Move on. Salty gets it from the Indian lady. Who's the Indian lady? Is this the Shack lady, but from India? Hello, this is Shack lady. I am from India. I work in a call center. Welcome, namaste. If you'd like to hire me on Fiverr, it is only £5 an hour. It is very good price. You cannot understand that I am sorry. Oh my goodness gracious me. Salty Pancakes. I am waiting in the background. If you want to hire me, I would do anything you tell me to do. You want some grab links? I will get some grab links. Goodness gracious me. Is that what the Shack lady is from India? Or like, or the Shack lady from wish.com from India? Maybe that's what Pancakes is referring to. It's a bit hard to know. Linda, does his face look like chicken pox all over because that's what math looks like? Right. Salty saying Kurt was pumping Dylan up with drugs and alcohol. So going over that same old story over and over with the labelling and claims, right? Cleo, I go to bed, you go to bed, or did you forget? Oh, I see. So you're saying, Cleo, when you go to sleep, I have to as well. Non-negotiable. Is that right? Salty saying, Kurt doesn't do meth, but he sure distributes it. Maria saying, how do you know this? Ronald Cully saying, Kurt stole my pot, which is known for drugs. Sketchy. Anyway, I'll send you something later. Indiana. Salty. Miss T. Grateful Nomad. Tom Evans. I asked Kurt once in a chat and he got very upset that I would say something like that. Right. Salty, ask Ellen Berg about her other son, who lives in Utah by me. Right. Maria, okay. Laughing my ass off, controlling. Cleo, got used to this damn UK time zone. Well, the time zone hasn't changed too much all this time, so it should be fine. Salty saying, who's also a drug dealer? Referring to Ellen's other son. Okay. Did you interview him? Salty didn't reply. He said, who is behind the Corey Richards drug deal? Don't know what that is. Is that it for the... Okay, so that's basically it. So, let me know what you think about all that. Also, one more thing, what I wanted to do was actually go into the profile of this Salty Crew account on YouTube from which commented last night. You see it on screen. Go to the video section, 2 videos there. Death threats by Jim Terry and Todd Corbin. Jim Terry harassing Salty again. These were posted 10 days ago. Nothing in the playlist, nothing in the channels. About section. Joined the 25th of May 2023. So kind of set up in recent time. Has it been used that much? Not for videos, but probably for commenting on here and there on YouTube, as we witnessed last night. Just wanted to share this with you so you're aware that it's Salty Pancakes, the channel, back up again on YouTube, but a brand new account. Okay. So in general, I just wanted to share that all with you because not everyone would have seen it last night. Just wanted to document Salty Pancakes' recent behaviour, his thought process. If anyone can check for inconsistencies, inaccuracies, contradictions by Pancakes, feel free to do so. If there's any strengths besides the weaknesses of Pancakes, feel free to list them down below. Not everyone will agree with this video. Feel free to leave your grievances down below for whatever reason, and we can go from there. If you've got questions as well, list them down below. And of course, make sure to check my previous videos out down below in the pinned comment section, as well as some additional links if you wish to view them, okay? So, yeah, I would say all in all, last night, a decent success. Range of different things spoken about, a few cat fights, maybe the odd dog fight, right? A little bit all over the place. That's good because it was in a controlled environment, the right place, the right time, with the right people. If people want to see stuff like that again in the future, we can do that. I know for the photos and the background of the video itself, maybe I'll have to try and change it up and find other material because I've only got so many photos on my phone, okay? I might have to get some new ones. But as for the chat itself, the live chat, that was fine, that was good. And we got some returning faces with certain discussions, which then enabled for this video to come forwards to spread further awareness of what's recently gone on. So let me know if you learned anything new, if you enjoyed the video, hopefully. For now, that's it. We'll see what happens next or who shows up next. And yeah, you never know. Thanks for watching. Good night and goodbye.